Hello fellow nomads. Today Ariane and I are in Camp Verde, Arizona, not that far away from Sedona and Cottonwood, and we've been having such a good time out here. But with our 76 Airstream, we've had a lot of questions here at this RV resort that we're staying in, and a lot of different emails, especially with some of the Facebook groups that we belong to, on what do you think your RV is worth? What do you think your 76 Airstream Argosy is worth? And we have come up with a lot of different price points. We've heard we could sell our RV anywhere from $80,000, maybe $60,000, but all of that is irrelevant. All of it's irrelevant if we don't do one thing. And that one thing is probably the biggest thing we could do, the most expensive thing. If it breaks, it's irreplaceable. We can't replace it. So that's why I'm going to show you in this video what we're going to do to protect it, how we're going to protect it, and what it costs to protect it. For Airstream owners, this is probably the most crucial, biggest part of investing or protecting your investment in the RV world. Airstreams have the curved glass in the front. Ours is a little bit different because they are irreplaceable. The new Airstreams today make a curved tinted glass. That's the only ones you can buy if one breaks. We don't have that. We don't want that. And so we're going to try to protect our windows the best way we can. And here at the RV park, we are going to make a do-it-yourself project. We're actually going to make rock guards for our curved windows. We're going to show you how we do it, and what materials we use, the steps we took. Now you can buy these rock guards from Airstream for anywhere from $900 to $1,200 a piece. We need 2 of them. That's a lot of money. So the cool thing about our rock guards is that we made it here at the RV park. We didn't have any kind of like professional machine tools, although a drill press might have helped on this one, but we're doing it right here in the middle of our RV park. So this is a pretty easy project. It'll probably take you anywhere from 2 to 3 days to do it. We spent maybe 3 to 4 hours on each day to complete the project. You could probably do it in the summertime. You could probably complete this in a day. It's just that we have limited time in the winter time, so we don't have a lot of sunlight. So I'm going to show you step by step how to make rock guards for your Airstream, vintage or otherwise, on the fly at an RV park with hardly any tools for about 250 bucks. Here we go. Okay, first things first, let's talk about materials and what you're going to need to complete this project. The very first thing you're going to have to take a look at is what type of material your rock guards are going to be made out of. So in our case, and this is what we did, there's a lot of probably different ways you can do this, okay? And by the way, if you've made rock guards for an Airstream, especially a vintage Airstream Argosy, post the comments below. I would love to hear and see your designs if you made a video about it, or just hear how you did it. This is how we're going to do it. It's probably going to be different, but this is how we did it. The first thing we did is we went to Home Depot and bought LEXAN board, okay? It's a polycarbonate piece. It's not really plexiglass, it's stronger than plexiglass. You can drill in it, you can score it pretty easily, you can cut it and it doesn't crack or chip, and that's what we used for our rock guards. Now it is expensive. A 36 by 48 piece of LEXAN is going to run you probably about $85 to $86 a piece, and we bought 2 of them. You can buy a single sheet and go from all the way from front all the way around the Airstream to the other side, but you know, we want to open up our front window, so we decided not to do that. So we just went with 2 36 by 48 LEXAN boards. They're about $85 $86 a sheet, and that is the most expensive piece of the project. So our design is a very, very simple design. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to use these brackets that are used for conduit pipe. These are usually found drilled into the wall. The conduit pipe goes in between and it holds the pipe against the wall. You can buy these at Home Depot. They're called EMT brackets. You can buy them in 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1 inch, 2 inch, all the way to 3 inches. This is going to be the depth of your panel that sits past your window, okay? So we went with 3/4. Now, let me tell you something about these. These things are a bitch to drill through, okay? This is the only time that a drill press would have been so much easier to drill through these. I drilled them from the bottom, okay? Not from the top, because there's like a little ridge on there, okay? So you can see this one really got bent up. They're made out of aluminum. They're not that durable as far as using them for anything else. But so we doubled these things up and drilled through them when they were doubled up, and the drilling process was so much easier. Okay, the other thing we use is our hole size is going to be 1/4. So everything's going to be 1/4. We drill with a drill bit 1/4 hole into the conduit brackets. In the center, try to get them as center as you can. When you drill through, it's going to make putting back the rock guard when you put it on much easier. So we went with a 1/4 drill bit, 1/4 hole, and everything, our bolts, our washers, everything is 1/4. So our next step was to get the bolts. That's going to bolt the whole project together. And so we went with regular machine screws. We went with just short machine screws. Now the trick is, don't buy a machine screw that's too long and that's going to bump up against your Airstream. You're never going to get a nut, or you're never going to get anything behind that. So we riveted these anchors into the Airstream. You don't have to be afraid to drill into the Airstream at all. It's just, that's what it's going to take. We went with Arrow. These are a little bit different. I've always used 3/16 size rivets when I did the Airstream renovation project. They're bigger rivets. You can get them with a 1/2 inch grip, and that's what you're going to want on this project, because you're going to be dealing with wind. You're going to be driving in windy conditions. You want this thing to hold on. So we went with a 1/2 inch grip that's going to hold those conduit brackets into the Airstream much easier. They're going to give it a much stronger feel. And these rivets are, they're aluminum rivets, but they're 3/16 with a 1/2 inch grip to it, and that's what you're going to want to look for. These you can find at Home Depot or Lowe's and pick them up just about anywhere. So to measure this piece of project, LEXAN glass or the LEXAN plastic, it is really important that you get a really good measurement. But here's the trick. These windows, these panoramic windows, they are not square, they're not even. There's absolutely nothing about these windows that make common sense. Nothing. Because the window curves in 2 different directions. Not only does it curve up because the Airstream curves up, but one side of the window is a completely different size than the next window. But I'm going to show you a little trick to actually get your cut right if you line it up this way. To line up the glass, you want to use the middle section because you have a nice straight line. You've got a straight line in the corner here. You've got a straight line in the corner here. Now, you're not going to be able to just wrap the LEXAN around the glass because it just doesn't work. You've got the window that curves up, and this side of the curved window is much different size than this side. So your LEXAN piece of square glass that you got is actually going to be sideways. It's going to look sideways. That's going to throw you off, but don't fret. Keep going. Now we measured exactly 1 inch from the glass frame. So that's how it's going to sit, and we're going to be 1 inch. So when you measure and you want to get a nice cut, all you have to do is measure 1 inch all the way, and you should be okay with that. And even at the curves, when you're curving up here, you want to do one inch. I hope you can see that. And then once you get all your measurements, even 1 inch when you do the curve, and then when you come down here, you're going to be a little bit down here, 1 inch from the bottom, and that's going to be your base all the way around your Airstream. Okay, so let's review. Conduit brackets, you've got your rivets, you've got, these are 3/4, you've got your 3/4 nut that's going to go in to your machine washers with a 1/4 opening. You've got your rubber stop that's in here, that's 1/4. The glass is going to go in between here. I've got a wing nut or a regular nut depending on how big your gap is and what you can do. That doesn't make any difference, but you want a lock washer behind here so it locks everything in place.
All right, so once you've done your measurements, you are obviously ready to cut in preparation for install. There's a lot of different ways that you can go about it. We found that the easiest thing to do was begin once you've traced out your line and you have a really clear defined line to go off of. We found it easiest to score the edges as methodically as possible, but score the edges with a carpet knife. They do use a scoring tool. We found that to be ineffective and harder to work from. We found this to be a lot more effective and easier for us to use. Once we've done that, once we scored it, then we took a good old-fashioned drywall saw to it, which seemed to be the most effective use for what we had, and we were able to make a very clean edge.
So one of the things that you're going to have to really kind of realize is that when you cut this piece, it's going to look bad. It's going to look like you messed up. It's not going to look anything like your curved window. But if you've measured 1 inch around the whole piece of glass from the glass trim, you're going to be fine. When you cut it, it's going to look like you made a mistake.
So the biggest thing to understand is that because of not only the curvature, but also the angling in of the window pane, it creates this like odd shape when you actually lay the piece flat. And that really threw us for a little while.
Yeah, we thought we'd made a mistake, but we didn't. Have confidence in your measure. And remember, when you put the LEXAN against your window for the first time, it's going to be tilted. It's not going to be square. It's actually going to be at an angle. So once you cut it, you look fine, and the results will speak for themselves. So after a couple days of putting them on, cutting them, they turned out great. We actually were able to bring back the tint film that we had bought at Home Depot. We were going to tint them, but they look so good without the tint. We brought that back and were able to save some money. The whole project was just a little over $200, but not much. We did switch out some washers. We went with the neoprene 1/4 hole, 1 1/4 in diameter rubber washers, the neoprene rubber washers. Now we couldn't find those at Home Depot, so we went to Ace Hardware and they had a ton of them. So those really were the same size as our washers. Again, that's 1/4 hole and 1 1/4 in diameter, both washer and neoprene rubber washer. And man, these things are not going anywhere. They feel very secure. I feel very confident driving those in the wind and in the rain, and I shouldn't really have any issue. We would have loved to have them tinted, but really they look so good without the tint. You can barely even see that they're on. And quite frankly, I think they kind of took away from the whole vintage look of the Argosy anyway. so we kept the tint off. So anyway, hope you guys learned a little bit about this for your Argosy renovator, Airstream renovator. This is a really good, easy way, durable way, inexpensive way to make rock guards for your panoramic window. So anyway, we are off. We're pulling out today, and we'll see you later. Bye.